What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Nerd On Update, our weekly show in which we talk about the nerdy news from the past week, or sometimes the past couple of weeks, or month, or 6 months. I don't know. News to me.
Or news to me.
News to me. And then the later part of the show in which we answer questions from you, the people. The first part of the show, we like to just kind of like, hang out. Chat.
Catch up, talk, see how y'all doing.
Exactly.
The music is still on, apparently. That's fine, chilling.
Yeah.
You're having some good vibage with y'all. You know what I'm saying?
I only have so many hands.
Yeah. Also, March has been a long year so far. I feel like
March has been a long year. My goodness.
Yeah. I feel like I feel like I don't know. I feel like I live by the minute some days. I feel like I live by the minute.
I get that.
And then all of a sudden it's like it's the next week already. I'm like, okay, now time to do it all over again. But no, Josh hasn't been on for a minute.
Nope, it has been a while.
This isn't like really technically news, but it is kind of like an update for like patrons. You want to share not exactly what you were working on, but why you were not here for like a couple weeks?
Yeah. If you are a member of the Nerd On Nation, nerdon.tv/Patreon, you got a little bit of a first look at a project that I've been... So I had work. I had a bunch of work, like just like my audio stuff and voiceover, but I had some Nerd On official work to produce a video for Focusrite. Can't tell any more details, but the Nation got a first look of the entire video. Pretty proud of it.
You should check it out.
It turned out really well. It's probably the most complicated timeline I've ever had. Ooh, spicy. You get it, Maba. You get it. But yeah, check it out. Ooh, Ethan Who subscribed with Prime. They've subscribed for 13 months.
Thank you, Ethan Who.
13 months. Thank you, Ethan Who. But yeah, so that'll be coming out where the whole public can see it soon. They haven't nailed down a time. I think they want to try to talk to some other companies or whatever. But yeah, pretty exciting stuff. But
yeah, check it out. Hopefully it is like the first of many.
Exactly.
We've worked with Focusrite multiple times, and they helped us out. But this will be like hopefully something that can kind of be indicative of our future. It would be somewhat exaggerative, but good storytelling to say, blood and booty sweat went to that one.
So much booty sweat, so much blood.
Yeah.
So many Band-Aids.
But since then, it's been some of Steve's, some Corey. Steve's will not be around for a minute because he discovered he's a little bitch and he can't be on. So no, he's got a lot of parental responsibilities. Corey had the long weekend, so he definitely needs some recoup time. But by next week, hopefully, barring anything cray, we should be rocking and rolling. But no, I mean, I feel like you weren't here for the Academy Award. Were you here for the Oscars?
No, sir.
Okay, yeah, not. I think that was the start of it. But yeah, man, you missed some of that stuff. I mean, Brad's always been kind of rating us sometimes, so it's kind of nice. He'll take a little break from his stream, then go into us, and then we'll throw it back over to him. But I mean, I think for the most part, oh man, there was one where like 20 minutes of it was all just terrible technological issues, just the worst, just god awful. Like we'd hear double, then we'd hear nothing. I
heard through the grapevine about that. I think somebody tagged me on Discord about it.
There was a really cool one where like, in order for me to make up for that, I ended up just like doing a window capture and then just capturing my web browser, and then like every time someone would do news, I would just like throw it up on the screen at the same time. So
hell yeah.
It was like, line producing.
I think I noticed something where you were starting to use like it was almost like show and tell, and I kind of like when I think of this show, the Nerd On Update, in like its later power levels as it levels up to like update mon and then war update mon, like what it could be. Like it would be cool to be, but this would require like a person, like a producer who could like, we're the host and they're doing the thing and they already have like, if we reference a photo or a picture or whatever, they can like pop it up on the screen.
Those are called producers. Yeah.
Yeah, producers. We need one of those.
It's what most all the big boys podcasts do is like, hey, put it up on the screen, and then you never hear who they are, and they just like talk, and then sometimes they have a mic and they chime in, but
hey,
until then,
hey, Brad, pop up with that picture that I was talking about. Oh, let's play that trailer. Ooh, yeah, let's
With
watch
no
that
audio,
acceptance speech. You know, that kind of thing. But yeah,
in due time.
Yeah, a lot more media. So yeah,
a lot more media, but also just we'll get some consistency going. We still got some fine tunage, and then also our own schedule to kind of just hammer out. So in due time, when we can handle the bandwidth, then I think that's definitely something in the future. I mean, if I host it, then I can just do that. So, so some crazy news from T-Dog already.
Hey, friend, and my date broke her tail. Oh, what did you do? I'm just kidding. What happened? Oh my goodness.
So a good date.
So, I mean, context is important. Always important. Do you ever? I don't know. Do you do TikTok?
Me? No, yeah. I'm like away from the social media. Like I have accounts, but I'm like, don't partake, don't look. Some people will send me shit. I'm like, all right, whatever. I think you sent me most recently like an Elden Ring get good scrub kind of meme thing.
Yeah. No, there's this guy. What you just did. I think his handle is the
James Tang.
Yeah. He and I follow each other. I was in a class with him. It was so funny. I was like, when I was in the class with him, I was like, hey. It was anyway. But that.
Yeah. He's the smiling guy. Yeah. He knows all like the kind of crew of actors I've like slowly started to get to know, and like he's a Thai guy, so I'm like, shouldn't we do something together at some point? But we'll figure that out.
There's so many like, I mean, I find it more so in Twitter where it's like, oh, wait, we're like best friends. We're like so close. Like
I don't know about best friends. It's you and me, sure. But I'm talking about them. Like, I don't know about all them. It's like these motherfuckers out here. I don't know.
We need to hang out, Tom.
Well, I was actually gonna say, in our green room, I was like, when are you free? I was like, I feel like it's time to watch. There's a particular movie we've talked about that I'm like, we should watch, but I just want to figure out a good time for you can watch. I mean, obviously, I don't know if you want to watch it in the studio or if you'd want to watch it in your living room, but I was like, or you could watch it at my place, sure. But
why don't we give my place a break and come hang out at your place? Your pad's cool.
Yeah, get some food and watch a movie.
Yeah,
but you know me, man. I ain't no bitch. I watch some fucking intense movies,
so I'm just gonna walk into like a surprise. I'm down.
Okay.
I'm cool.
Right.
I'm fine with that. I trust you.
We'll text it out and figure out a good time.
Yeah.
But I think we've chit chatted enough. I think we can get
you want to get into some news? I'll go first because my news is kind of like almost fluff pieces. Not really. Like it's just like really. It's been a good couple of weeks in TV. So last week, I don't know if anybody here watches it, but the show Shrinking on Apple TV is borderline perfect. It's so good. It makes your heart feel things. But it had its finale and it was so good. But Ted Lasso returned, and last night Succession returned.
Candy baby.
Fuck off. I'm so excited for Succession to be back, but it's its final season, right? I believe.
Which I'm very happy about. To me, good things end. Art pieces end.
Yeah, this show
can go on forever.
I think you got me into it because you were talking about it, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give it a shot. And Bonnie and I got into it, and after the first episode, we were like, yeah, I'm in. It's just the characters. The characters just crack me up. They're just like how
And they're not
shitty they
good.
are.
They're not good, and you don't want to be them. But like
No.
they're interesting enough that you want to watch what they do.
Poor Greg. I love Greg. I would just like my
I
theory, and I
haven't
think it
seen the
would be
latest
funny.
episode.
I haven't watched it either, but
Okay.
I just think I just think that it would just be so poetic if in the end Greg ends up with it all. Like just like somehow like he ends up with it all. Probably won't happen. But
Brad the Broken, the most useless character, also gets the. It's like what the fuck.
my other news is so last month it was said that Netflix was going to be removing Arrested Development from Netflix. Things have changed.
Reasons why?
Just the end of their contract. So what happened was Netflix made a new licensing deal with Disney to secure the streaming rights for Arrested Development. And these are all like insiders that are telling this article, this writer, these are the sources. And they're also saying that Hulu had rights to the first 3 seasons and they had to give up those rights. So Netflix is still on, Arrested Development. Netflix is still on Netflix, guys. Nothing's changing.
Nothing's changed. We've done it again.
We've done it again, everybody, except for ads. Now there will be ads. Yeah, I know that there was other news, but I'm going to let you do your news because you said you had a lot.
Yeah, so I'll transition with more Netflix news. Mike Flanagan, who has become like Stephen King's like successor or like the one to tell the visual versions of the Stephen King films and universe stuff. Josh, you love their work from Dr. Sleep.
Yeah.
And
you know what's hilarious? I was once sued by a man named Mike Flanagan, and every time I see the name come up on the credits, I'm like,
it's the fuck? Is
this
how much money he made?
It's not the same guy, but every time I see his name in the credits, I'm like, what the fuck?
It's like
this bitch.
All my money. All my money made this movie.
No, I won. But shit, that
guy. So also best known from Gerald's Game, Midnight Mass. That's kind of like the big one. They cut ties with Netflix.
Oh shit.
And so their film Hush will no longer be on Netflix, even though I believe it's a Netflix original film.
Wow.
I don't know. So that being said, Hush will be leaving, and I think all the Mike Flanagan stuff will be not being on Netflix anymore, because Mike Flanagan is going to be doing stuff now with Amazon.
Okay.
That being said, what would you say? Multi collaborator, aka his wife, aka his go-to actress. They were thinking about doing a commentary track on Hush before it leaves. And I'm like, that's kind of cool, kind of interesting. I don't know how that all works out again with the rights and streaming and that being said, we'll move on to the next thing of streaming stuff. If anyone watches The Mandalorian, I know I don't right now because again, I'm still coming up from air from all the Star Wars I just keep getting thrown in my face. But apparently Ahmed Best, most notably known as Jar Jar Binks, who was probably maybe the first to truly experience the toxic people who consider themselves Star Wars fans, apparently had a kind of a wonderful welcome back into the franchise with The Mandalorian. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone. But that being said, it has created some conversation on the internet of, oh, what a redemption, where in most things, like, it's not a redemption. If anything, everyone just like owes Ahmed a apology for all that stuff, which I am in total agreement with. I don't think there was any reason for an actor to ever redeem themselves in such a way. I don't think it's something like George Clooney playing Batman needs to redeem himself by playing, like, I don't know, fucking I don't know, Lex Luthor and the new James Gunn Superman. But
I'd watch it.
Sure. Um, but yeah, so I think that was pretty cool to see them come back. Um, and in not cool news and disappointing news, right now, so far, we don't know the
Oh,
full verdict of where everything's going on. Jonathan Majors was arrested and now has charges held against them
yeah.
for battery and assault and harassment. And the internet pretty much blew up that night because Jonathan Majors, aka probably the biggest rising star currently right now,
Yeah.
after Lovecraft Country, The Harder They Fall, Loki, and then now
Creed and
Ant
yeah.
Creed, and then Ant-Man, and gearing up for the next Avengers film, King Dynasty. uh this man was primed up to truly be like really, really, really in his prime, as well as like kind of was going to command any type of big Hollywood role. That all that being said, we're going to see and wait to make any judgment calls or anything like that. I think, to me, like the most like objectively honest thing to possibly say is it's very disappointing to see if these are true. And we'll just have to see where it all kind of lays down. Sometimes court cases get thrown out, such as Justin Roiland, and even though all the digital evidence and things like that are still like out there in the world. So yeah, it just kind of has to see how it goes. I don't want to make it kind of like a Johnny Depp Amber Heard situation where it's like a lot of it gets emotional based and judged, and it's all based upon the evidence, and that's all what you kind of could really remark upon. Obviously you can have your own personal feelings, but it's just like, all right, before saying anything, we'll just see where it all lands. And the last thing I'm going to say for the news, I swear to God, no, I had one more. That's the thing I was going to say before my last news. This is the one thing I'm going to say. Just in time for the Last of Us series to be wrapped up, season 1 on HBO. You can now play The Last of Us Remastered on PC starting
Yeah.
today at the time of the recording, and the broadcasting of the stream. Did Last of Us need a remaster? Not really. It still looks pretty good, but everyone at Naughty Dog and Neil Druckmann, everyone like that, I think now is opening the doors. It's very strategic if you think about it, where it's like Last of Us, week later, Succession. But if you want to go back to Last of Us, how about you play the game remastered now? You're like, oh, that's kind of big brain. That's kind of big brain.
How dare you think so well?
Yeah.
How dare you?
I know, right? So smart marketing for like maybe a bajillion-dollar company. But next and last bit of news, sad bit of news for me. I was not able to acquire any of the $150 tickets to go watch Daddy Zacky Snacky at SnyderCon, because apparently, so it was like 9 a.m. The post was, hey, AFSP tickets for SnyderCon to watch IMAX screenings of Man of Steel, BVS, and Zack Snyder's Justice League were online at 8 a.m. I'm not on the internet like crazy, and I was like, oh, let me check out, see. Everything sold out within an hour. And I'm like, not surprised, but also very sad. I have friends who are coming down from other places in California to go watch it, so I'm definitely going to be like, tell me how it went, please.
Everything.
I think it's pretty cool. First of all, that there's actually going to be an IMAX screening of Zacky Snacky's Justice League. But also, like, the tickets were expensive and they sold out in less than an hour.
That's
And I think it's just really cool to see the excitement. It also just talks about like a little bit of like the demand and how far people are willing to go to watch these films, and also to do Q&As, and also all the money, I think, proceeds go to AFSP. So I think that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
But that's all my news I got we can switch it over to the questions.
Yeah, we're going to switch on over to the other side. This is the other side. Welcome. This is where we answer questions from you, the people, and you can ask them in so many different ways that I made a page on our website, nerdon.tv/questions, and it has all of the ways that you can do it. But my favorite way is the Discord. It is the Discord. And whether you are coming in hot and you're in our public Discord, there are channels in there, but the absolute best way is to join the Nerd On Nation, nerdon.tv/Patreon, and get what we call the Nerd On Nudge. You also get things like, I don't know, today I posted a first look of a video that we produced with our friends over at Focusrite. Pretty hot and spicy. Posted today. Check it out. But you can post your questions and get to the front of the line. Like Mamba, shout out, asks, have you ever had a delicious type of food that when you eat it, it reminds you about something in your past? What food is it and what does it remind you of?
Whoa.
Getting heavy?
It reminds you of something in your past. What does it remind you of? Delicious food, and when you eat it, reminds you of your past. Delicious food that reminds me of my past.
I have one.
Please.
I mean, anytime I have a California burrito, which is basically a carne asada burrito with fries inside of it, fries and guacamole in it. When I have it at the taco shop that I told you about, or that I took you to, it's an obvious reminder. But anytime, it doesn't matter where I'm at, California burrito or carne asada fries, I think about college. I think about college days and these guys that I used to hang out with, and we used to unicycle a lot together, and we hung out all the time. Like after college classes, we'd hang out. We hung out over the weekend. We just spent a lot of time together. I just always think about them. They're super creative. One of them went on to start Steam Powered Giraffe, which is pretty funny. But I always think about that time because we'd go to Cotijas. We'd get our California burrito. They have great breakfast burritos too. But I just always think about that time. I don't know. Every time. What about you, Tom?
I have one. I was thinking about it. I'm like, okay, I have one. It's interesting because it's twofold. It is a store-bought rotisserie chicken. That reminds me of the first apartment I ever had when I moved out and I was 17 years old. I was still doing this piece of shit job, pyramid scheme shit, and I wasn't making that much money at all because I didn't know any better. And I was working with this friend, and him and I both got wrapped up in the thing. And it got to the point where, like, it was tough, like save enough money and also survive. Yeah. And then I was just like, let me just go get as much rice as I can get, and then we'll just eat off the rice. Because he was kind of like my ride, so like we kind of like just survived based on like if I can feed us, then he can drive us around. It was rough.
That is a come out in the wash kind of situation we were talking about in the green room. That is it comes out in the wash.
And I remember there was a time where like there was nothing else to eat. We had like no proteins, no veggies, no anything else. And I was like, hey, and we got a rotisserie chicken, and it was like $8. And I was like, hey, if I shred this up and I put this in the rice cooker, then I could just make chicken rice. And that shit was one of the best. I think about that. I'm like, that was one of the greatest flavored like meals I've ever had. But it was probably because I was really poor and it just tasted so good at the time. But the second thing it reminds me of is also this one time. Funny thing is, like, I don't actually talk to these people anymore, and like for very unfortunate, sad reasons. But like there's another time that I think about a rotisserie chicken where I was in my second apartment. I was doing a lot better financially. But then there was someone who I considered a friend at the time who was having a hard time, and we just one day bought one rotisserie chicken per person, And then we went to go watch a scary movie in my living room, and we just ate this rotisserie chicken, one person per rotisserie chicken, and we just ate that while we're watching this movie like a bunch of goddamn animals. And
just like Gollum, just like
yeah, just ripping apart, eating the thing,
because that's
napkin
not
on
like
the side.
rotisserie chicken. We get a rotisserie chicken like probably once a month, and it's like you have one meal and then you gotta take the chicken off of the bones, and like when you're done, like your hands are just like you're just like meat juice, it's just chicken juice.
And I don't hate that, and I don't hate that. And yeah, so that's what rotisserie chicken reminds me of. Those two moments, and they were of formative age years. But
And rotisserie chicken is delicious.
very good.
It's very, very
and the
good.
juice on the bottom of that boy. Ooh, you can just
yeah.
flavor. You can just make some rice out of
Did
that
you put
shit,
that
baby.
juice in the rice?
Oh
Like,
yeah.
oh, okay, good. Then, yeah, you did right. Next question comes from B-Rad. Video game adaptations to movies and TV have a long-standing reputation for being awful, with people wondering which project will eventually break the curse and be good. Do you think the curse is still ongoing? And if not, what was the adaptation that you first thought was great?
You or me?
You can go first. I still got to think about it.
I think the curse is not ongoing. I think we were at the point in the same way of like Sam Raimi Spider-Man 2 times, where comic book movies weren't necessarily seen as great, but the few that were out that are great will be great for a long time. And we're at this budding age of like, people just don't take them seriously, but they could be really, really good. I think films like Sonic are not made for everyone. They're made for the family audience, right?
Yeah.
I think things like Cyberpunk Edge Runners on Netflix was really good. I think things like Arcane also very good.
Yes.
That just continue to show that like I think people just need to put a lot of attention towards it and then like find creative ways. A lot of people think that executives or creatives are like ashamed of the source material, and I don't think that's true. I just think they, one, are afraid of dumb audiences, and two, don't know how smart their audience can actually be.
Yeah.
Where they have to do things like in Monster Hunter, where in Monster Hunter it takes place in the real world, and then a group of like Navy SEALs or ex-CIA, whatever, they're operatives that use guns, get transported into this Monster Hunter world. So they are allowed to explain why the Monster Hunter world exists, of being like, it's another dimension, versus just being like, do you think people had to explain what Lord of the Rings was? They're like, no. In the world of Middle Earth and all these places, you're just there.
Yeah.
Right? So same thing with Sonic. It's like, why doesn't it all just take place in the Sonic world? We transport them to another world. It works. It has been proven to work. So it's like, maybe that's going to gear a lot of people up to that. But I think the first one that made me feel like the curse was broken, and I thought the first adaptation was really good. I mean, classic answer. Mario Bros.
The right answer?
I think video game adaptations that worked out, that was like, this is a good one, probably be
Double Dragons. Yes.
probably Castlevania, the animated series on Netflix, created by not a nice human being. But I think that was it. I think like when you have the right medium to also tell it in, I think you crack the code. It just depends how you do it. So
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, also I love the first Mortal Kombat. So
yeah. I mean, Mario Bros. Come on now. Yeah, I don't know if I have a dog in the fight for this. It's kind of like I can think of ones that, I mean, you already mentioned, like, I mean, Arcane was incredible. It's
phenomenal.
It's phenomenal. I think Last of Us is really good. It's hard because with those kinds of things, of course, there's like a cash grab aspect of it that like, all right, you're trying to speak to the audience that is a part of this community, but you might not understand the audience or the material or whatever, and what draws people to that. I think recently I've been getting into Destiny again recently, and I started reading through the grapevine or seeing through like I didn't click through, but there was like talks that there might be a Destiny live action thing happening, and I was like, okay, that'll be interesting. It's just like I don't know. It's hard to when you do have things that you can pull from and go, okay, yeah, there's Arcane, and yeah, of course there are some really bad ones that you're like, ooh, that's not that. It just has the name of it. Okay.
Assassin's Creed, baby.
Yeah. Next question.
Next question, yes.
Spencer, shout out. You can have a sequel made for next-gen consoles for any video game. What game do you pick?
What game do you pick for a next-gen console sequel? So next-gen console. Next-gen console is currently, I guess technically it's still PS5 and Xbox Series 1X or whatever the fuck.
Is Switch not a part of that? Like the Switch Lite or whatever it is?
Switch Pro?
Switch Pro. I don't know what, like, would that be considered?
Technically, because it's like technically in the mid release, because Nintendo was just like, fuck y'all, I'm not gonna fight in this battle. So yeah, it could be that. Yeah, Switch is not next gen, I'd say. So mainly I guess just between Sony and Xbox.
Fuck.
What were you gonna say though?
Super Mario RPG 2.
No.
It'd be on Switch. You know it.
But it'd be on the next one.
Better. I'll find something. Not better, but I'll find something.
Man, I would say fucking do a Batman Beyond Arkham game. That'd be, I think, the one, and the main like difference is that you figure like Rockstar Games, whatever they are, they figure out a really cool way to make flight a thing, and I think that's the next level. And then also like all the Predator missions, because Terry McGinnis's suit can go invisible, and so like doing that'd be really sick.
A Batman Beyond game would be wild. Be wild.
But you definitely you call it Batman Beyond Arkham.
Ooh.
And so it's pretty much like, I don't know, maybe you're doing all these things and you're outside of Arkham, and then at the very end, the last level is like you have to go through Arkham.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say. On for PlayStation for sure, because fucking Microsoft's a joke. I'm kidding. No. Kidding. We want the paid sponsorships. I'm kidding.
One comes there's two that come to mind, but one that I would be like, man, that would be dope. PlayStation 1 Tenchu Stealth Assassin was so cool. Yeah, I can't even like I just remember playing that game so much. My friend Josh, the other Josh, had it. Tenchu Stealth Assassin, and honestly, you could look at it in other games, like just any ninja game, but it was just so cool. I just thought it was so neat.
Go ahead.
Yeah, if you saw it, like on PlayStation graphics, like that would be pretty cool. I thought Medal of Honor, because Medal of Honor on PS1 was one of my favorite games too, but not a PvP version. I just need a single player campaign, because wasn't there a Medal of Honor PvP or something recently or some shit?
I don't know about Medal of Honor. I felt like Medal of Honor got killed because Call of Duty and Battlefield just destroyed like the wartime shooter games. I will say though, yeah, Medal of Honor is the game that you play. I'm pretty sure Spielberg helped produce those games. those are the games that you play if you want to play by yourself. If you want to
Mm-hmm.
explore like the different battles of like revolutionary or historical wars, where Call of Duty was like, oh, I want to play against other people and shoot and do fictional wars and stuff like that. But I mean, if you want to, I mean, I would just say this: if you want a good single player campaign shooter game, you play Modern Warfare 1 and 2. The old ones, not the new ones. The new ones, I feel like the story's probably dog shit. But I don't know. I haven't played it. I just know that like the reason why Modern Warfare is like the franchise as it like not just Call of Duty. Black Ops is popular for its own thing. Modern Warfare, the reason why they had to bring it back is because after they finished Modern Warfare 3, they went to Advanced Warfare, and then it was just like, this is too much. Modern Warfare 1 and 2 was so successful that it literally just like blew up the market of like first person shooters could be like amazing. It was like the true only competitor that Halo had as a first person shooter. And then anyways, but also to your Tenchu thing, I was gonna say, sounds like someone needs to play Sekiro.
You know, man.
Shadows die twice.
You know, man. You know. I know. It's on my list.
Well, it's funny because I looked up Tenchu just now. I was like, okay, and then everyone's like Sekiro. I was like, I guess. I guess, but like you've played now a FromSoft game, so you kind of know what you're getting yourself into, and I feel like you would obviously get a good kick out of it because obviously Sekiro is going to deal more into the ninja realm, where like you play something like Neo or play something like Ghost of Tsushima. It's so much more of like samurai instead of like the ninja shit.
Oh yeah, Tenchu 2. It was good, so good, so bloody game. Oh, it was so bloody. I remember being like, and that was like when you were like, you're in your early teens. Wait, what year did this come out? Let's see, 1998. Yeah, North America. Yeah, 1998. Man, we felt so cool when you were playing that in the blood. The like low graphic blood is just like blocks just flow. Anyway, it'd be so much more bloody.
There's one game that what's his name Mickey Rourke voices. He's Whiplash, right? Mickey Rourke's Whiplash from the Iron Man movie. And I forget the name of the game, but it's like not quote unquote it's not a good game, but it's like half the time he's just like, take that motherfucker. It's just like, Jesus Christ. Like you play as him and he just does like the worst things in the world. Just like, Jesus. I'll show you a video of just like best ofs, and you're just like, who made this game?
Who did this?
Who did
Who
this?
hurt you?
It's so fucking funny.
That is all the questions that I have, Tom. You have the ample questions from chat and Discord and all that good stuff.
Maybe I do. Maybe I don't. Maybe go fuck yourself. But Marky Mark, people in the chat ask some questions. I got 2 questions coming at us from Thomas Rio, and we're going to answer them now.
Yeah,
if there's anyone in the chat, please send them out. First question I'm going to ask is Thomas Rio asks, if you had a comic book store, what would you name it? And their suggestion is they would go with Haley's Comics.
That's fun.
Like Haley's Comics, pretty cool.
Yeah,
so if you had a comic book store, what would you name it?
I don't know.
I would name it The Lore Hold.
The amount of doubt that was in your face.
I think the Lore Hold.
Would you?
Because it sounds badass, and when people say it out loud, they're like, "The fuck is that?" And then you say it's a comic book store. It wouldn't just be a comic book store. I'll tell you right now, comic book stores are going the way of dinosaurs because you need to offer a little bit more than just comics. and even the comic book store that's local to Josh and I has cards. It has toys. So like you have to offer multiple things in order to keep your like people coming into the door. And I know a lot of people don't want to do that; they just want to be just a bookstore. But it's really hard to compete with big box, stores as well as online stores. And so for me, I always want to make it like a game store at the same time as like I always want to make it like some kind of like hospitality with like some service or something like that. So call it the Daddy Zachy Snyderverse. You know what? I could. I call it the Zookie Cookie. Um,
You going down to Zook's? Hell yeah, I'm going down to Zook's.
Get myself some cooks.
There would be
But
cookies. Could there be a
yeah,
bakery inside? I get it.
yeah, call it Zookie Cookie.
I like it.
Yeah, I call it the lower hold because also it sounds like a little like people who want to cosplay could come in there and cosplay. Like it's like oh this little, it's like it's got a lot of reverence to it. Even though if I'm owning it, I'm like yeah, do whatever. So, Josh, you got one?
Nothing good. Maybe something like turn the page or like.
I was almost gonna say page turner or something like that.
Yeah, turn the page or panels and things.
Mm.
The gutter would be cool. Yeah, I got nothing good. Next question.
Those are fine. Next question. From Thomas Rio. What's the weirdest thing you've ever eaten? I recently tried a century egg, and then they said it tasted like a hard-boiled egg left out for days or something like that. But I'll tell you this, Thomas Rio. I love me a century egg. Century egg, I think, tastes so good. Have you ever had a century egg?
No.
They're like hard-boiled eggs, like in like clay, and when you take them out, they're like black. And when you cut into them or eat them, they're like greenish black. And it looks really weird. And they're called century eggs because like technically like, oh, they're aged for 100 years. They're aged for like 10 days. And they're very like strong in their scent and their pungentness. But to me, it's like if you had that over rice, it's like perfect. To me, it tastes like a perfectly salted egg over rice. If you just had like a hard-boiled salted egg over rice. I really like it. I know like it's probably a very peculiar texture, look, and smell, but it's like if once you like kind of just really just think like it's food and you eat it, and then you're just like, oh wow, yeah, this tastes really good for me.
I would try it. I'll always try anything once. I'll try it once, but I will say my initial reaction just from hearing about it, I don't know, dude. But I'll try it if it happened.
Yeah, I like it a lot. But the weirdest thing I think I have tried recently, I mean, for me, like I grew up with that kind of shit, so like nothing's ever really weird to me. I think a lot of what I would eat is weird to other people, like chicken feet in dim sum, or like deep fried pork intestines from like Chinese cuisine. But I would say something very unique that I was like, oh, I didn't know I could do that, and I had it. Was probably.
I mean, one thing that I think of, like, I didn't know that this wasn't a normal thing because it was such a normal thing for me as a kid, is like, it's basically it's Spam salad. You take Spam and you crush it up and you put mayonnaise in it and some shredded cheese, and it's like this like salad. I mentioned it. I think I talked about it on my social media once. And people were like, wait, tell me about this. Like, I was like, wait, this isn't a thing? Nobody knows about this? Like,
I never heard of it.
What? No, but it's like, I don't know, but it's just like a part of my childhood that I'm like, oh, we used to like make sandwiches on like plain white bread.
That sounds like a pretty good spread.
It's good. It's good. It's real good.
Very salty, I'm assuming.
I haven't had it in a long time. I was thinking about it recently where I was like, I should just get a can of Spam and some cheese and some mayonnaise and see if it holds up.
I mean, when I was a kid, I was made fun of because I would have hot dogs with mayo and ketchup. And now you could buy mayo chip at the store.
Yeah.
And people eat that shit all the time. And I'm like, bitch, the fuck was I made fun of? My dad invented this shit. So now I'm thinking about it. So Thomas Ario in the chat said it's got to be better than duck fetus. That's probably the weirdest thing I've eaten. Is probably balut, which is a fertilized egg, and so you have like a little bit of the duck bones, and they're kind of like formed, or not duck, chicken.
Okay.
And so it's a lot of Asian cultures eat it, but I think it's most primarily connected to or affiliated with or associated with Filipino culture.
Okay.
B-A-L-U-T, balut.
I mean, again, this is from my child. There's a diner, not a diner, a deli where I grew up. This little deli that sold pizzas, and one of their pizzas was BLT pizza, and so it's like it had lettuce,
balut pizza,
bacon, lettuce, tomato pizza, and it was like it had lettuce on it, it had bacon, it had tomato, it had mayonnaise. It was really good. I remember I remember that. It was really good, but it does sound weird when I think about it. I'm like, I don't remember how they made it because I'm like, it's a pizza. It had to be cooked, but the lettuce wasn't cooked. Like, how did they obviously that's after, like, I don't know. Anyway, I just remember being like, ooh, that's so good.
I got to shout out Ethan Hu in the chat real quick, who's saying balut's pretty good, but also that they are Vietnamese and people assume that they're Filipino all the time. Same. Not Filipino at all. Just because we're dark, just because we're brown skinned, they're like, oh, Filipino. They're like, no, man.
Bitch.
Other ethnicities get brown too, baby. Yeah. So
I mean, there's other things that I've eaten that are weird, but I just can't think of.
But the thing is, like, that's the thing. Like, we don't consider it weird, but like, was there anything that we've eaten that you're like,
you know what I've eaten that was weird? It's a sucky story, but when I was in France last year. When I was in France last year, we went into, when you are in a foreign country and you go away from the major cities, you start getting into like the culture of the country. You get into small towns and whatnot that aren't going to be, they barely speak English. Yeah, exactly. They barely speak English, but we went to this little restaurant. It's in a very cute town off the side of a river and everything. And we ordered what was called andouette. You think that that's like andouille sausage. It's not. Do you know what it is?
No.
It is butthole.
Nice.
It is, and it tastes like butthole. It is not good. It is not good.
Andouette.
It's lower intestine sausage, I believe, is the andouille. There it is. Food. We looked it up afterwards.
So it's spelled like andouille, but it was an et at the end of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is tripe sausage.
You know what? I might eat this shit.
Listen, I tried it. This is no good. I did not like it.
If you type in eat fried Chinese intestine, like, I eat that shit up all the time, baby. Like the crispy shit, the real crispy shit, baby.
Nah. This is how it's spelled. It's in the chat. Andouette. I mean, when I saw it on the menu, we were like, oh, okay.
No,
it looks like andouille sausage. You're like, oh, it's just gonna be, it's gonna be smaller. Andouette, like maybe it's smaller. Nope.
No, I mean, the way that it's prepared, I don't know if I'd really even like the look of it. I'm like, this looks a little rough, but
it was when it came out and we could smell it, and it was like, oh, this smells like ass, literal ass. We're like, okay, we're just gonna try it. We're gonna try it. Nope. That deserves the sad trombone.
To me, Chinese deep fried intestine, I will eat the shit out of that, and I have eat the shit out of that, and I'm not afraid to do it again. That shit was delicious. It's salty, fatty goodness. For me. So, eat the booty like it's groceries. Thomas Del Rio knows.
What is this? What is the deep fried pork intestine Chinese? Is that what?
Yeah, deep fried pork intestine, Chinese.
I mean, it looks delicious.
It's crunchy good. It's like a chicharron.
Yeah. I mean, some of these pictures are not good, but the first ones, they look great.
Yeah, like if you deep fry it, like obviously it's gonna taste good to me. But like, you know, like it, again, just depends how it's prepared. Like, you know, like you can eat like tendons, like deer tendons, but you have to soak them. You have to soak them for like days so they actually get like loose, and then you can like then eat it. And so it's like it just depends how it's prepared. And like I don't know how andouette looks like. Yeah, you look like chitlins. Is chitlins the thing? Anyways, I never had chitlins, so I'm like I've had this. And it's good, and I like it. Anyways, last question of the night.
Yeah, last question.
Last question from T-Dog 8282. Would you rather swim 100 miles over 2 days, or run 100 miles over 3 days? I would rather run. Huh?
Where am I swimming? Am I like swimming in the ocean? Or does it not matter?
You know what? I don't know. Thomas Rio? T-Dog? Are we in the ocean or are we in a pool? Because to me, I'd rather... I hate swimming. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, I would probably run.
Yeah,
I would probably run.
I would run. I couldn't. I don't know if I could. I don't know if I could do 30 some miles a day. I feel like my legs would explode.
Yeah.
I already have shin splints, so
so I used to do long distance running, and I know that they're if you have the endurance for it, you eventually get to a place where that runner's high is an actual thing, and you just don't even feel your legs. But when you're done, like I don't, both sound terrible. Like the running for 100 miles over 3 days, right? Is that what I?
3 days.
I feel like at the end of each day, like you would just be jello. You would be googly. Like you just wouldn't even like.
I would love to have the physical stamina to do that, but I would rather do the run because I'm more comfortable running than I am swimming.
Yeah.
That's all the questions so far, everyone. Or that's it for the rest of the night.
Yeah, submit all the questions that you have. As you can see, you can ask anything you want. I mean, we're pretty much open books. I think that there's a pretty limited line that we have and what you cannot ask. Yeah, if you're new to Nerd On, welcome. Thanks for hanging out with us. If you're live on Twitch and you're lurking, if you're watching on YouTube, welcome. Check out our website, nerdon.tv. It has the whole backlog of all of our episodes is on our website. It's just there. Your favorite podcast app. All of our episodes go to YouTube. All of that good stuff. Shout out to our friends over at Focusrite and Odyssey and Embody Audio. All those guys, we don't really thank them enough, but they're cool people. Speaking of which, actually, Odyssey has a new headset out called the Maxwell. It is the best gaming headset I have ever used in my entire life. It is so comfortable and sounds so good.
I thought you were going to go straight gangster. It's the best gaming headset I ever fucked with my life. I'm like, God damn.
Fucked with my life. Josh. This guy fucks.
Yes, I do know who we're going to raid. We're going to go raid Brad. They're playing Resident Evil.
We're going to do that. But that's all the housekeeping. Get that music going. I'm gonna transition us into the ending screen while you're doing the raid thing. But everybody, take care of yourselves. We'll see you this week. I'm gonna be back streaming. I'm gonna be streaming again this week. Probably some Destiny because I'm back on that train. But yeah, you know the drill, everyone. Nerd on.
Nerd on.